guys, nobody here, and first I want to clarify that this is the Games and Movies with a Nobody channel, not the just games and strictly outdated 2009 content with a Nobody, and yeah, I don't seem to be going anywhere with this. I'm reviewing a TV show today. Yay! I've run out of things to say. Unlike Bumblebee, who can't say anything to begin with. Ho-ho! I'm fucking hilarious, kids! But seriously, let me preface this by saying that I am not a die-hard Transformers fan. In fact, before sitting down to watch Transformers Prime for reasons of national security, my experience with the show came from owning the really cool toys, whose names I couldn't really remember. Except I remember everything because I had no life and sat in my room memorizing everything! Right. So, I did remember the characters and I thought the toys were neat, but most of my experience with the actual show was minimal at best. I remember seeing Armada when it first came out and would occasionally sit down and watch it in the mornings before school, and the same goes for the follow-up series Energon and Cybertron, which I've come to understand is known as the Unicron Saga. From an outsider's perspective, they were interesting enough to hold my attention for 5 minutes while I was waiting to go to school, but they never did much for me. And as for owning the toys, well, toys are toys, and you show me a 5-year-old boy who's going to ignore a transforming tank that transforms into a giant battle robot, and I'll show you a clear-cut case of child abuse. However, as a full-grown adult, I've come to refine my taste in children's entertainment, and flourish in anything that's well done, from Animaniacs to Avatar, and CatDog to Hey Arnold, Recess and Phineas and Ferb, and beyond. Cartoons are something that I found myself unable to escape the allure of, but it's not just any cartoon that will catch my attention. Well, I mean, yeah, but... Well, I mean, skating's cool. Alright, enough! Okay, so I'm not perfect. I like obscene action and gratuitous violence. What can I say? But I also have an eye for story, particularly shows that exhibit an overarching continuity and a big story to tell. It's a trait that I like in games and why I enjoy sequels a lot. I like expanding universes, and I like large tales, and that's why I decided to take a look at Transformers Prime. Out of everything that, you can look at in the animated universe, I wanted to look at the one that was going to tell a giant overarching story, and this was the one that I was told it was. Anyway, I decided to take a look at Transformers Prime on a new series I'm piloting called Couch Potato, where I talk about TV shows and movies that I like and don't like, good or bad, it doesn't matter. If it's fun to talk about, I'm going to talk about it. And with a certain friend of mine who's a diehard Transformers fan, who I'm sure is probably watching this video right now, I'll be sure to get an earful of anything that I've gotten wrong in the review, so don't worry, your complaints will be heard, tenfold. Oh, and this will have spoilers for the whole series, so this is your warning ahead of time. If you don't want spoilers, get the fuck out. Alright, and with that out of the way, I'll be doing episode reviews. This is not a series review, but depending on how things go, I might do an opinion on it someday. But today, we're going to take a look at the episode Faster Stronger. It's alright. It has some great moments, but I have some issues, and it doesn't take long to end the episode to get to the first one.
Hey, Ratchet. Is that synthetic energon?
That's Raphael. He's the youngest of the 3 kids in the show. Honestly, he never gets on my nerves, but he's never on screen long enough to. And after watching the series, I'm actually kind of sad to say that the best episode with him in it is the one where he almost dies. And he doesn't even say anything. He's just a casualty. Granted, the entire episode revolves around that casualty, but it's telling when your character's best episode is only memorable because of a child dying. I'm not criticizing that episode either. It was really well done. And whether that's a flaw with the writing or my personal issues with the character is up to you. Like I said, he's never annoying, but he doesn't do much besides just play human tech support. And just to branch off on that, I get that every TV show for kids needs that one super genius with technology being his greatest asset, but as one of the children who grew up on technology, most of us cannot do half the things this child is apparently capable of, and I've always just found this to be a little weird and kind of annoying. But that's just a personal tangent. Now, to be fair, Raphael is not the problem in the episode I was referring to, but this is literally the only chance I'm ever going to get to talk about him, unless I review this show some more, so may as well mention it now.
In fact, I'm preparing to test a sample. I see that you come equipped with protective goggles.
I can watch?
We just add some to this test engine.
It works. B!
This iteration of the formula requires further trial before we can even think about using it for fuel, ammunition, or first aid. Which is rather unfortunate since our own energon reserves are at an all-time low.
Right, you heard that? Okay, remember it. I just want to save it for later.
Autobots?
Optimus. If one of you comes back wounded this time, well, our energon reserves are nearly depleted.
Understood. Activate the ground bridge. Autobots, roll out.
Sometimes, I wish I could do more. This iteration of the formula requires further trial. Further trial.
Holy crap, I think that gave me whiplash. That was 1 minute and 30 seconds, Ratchet. You couldn't even make it a full 5 minutes without deciding to completely go against what you said earlier about not wanting to use it because you needed to test it more to make sure it was safe to use for ammo and healing and power and whatever else you fucking use Energon for. No, you couldn't even make it 5 minutes. And you had the weakest excuse possible.
Sometimes, I wish I could do more.
You wish you could do more? Everyone wishes they could do more. That is a terrible excuse. And what do you decide to do? So you drug yourself? I didn't realize that Transformers was the perfect medium to tell an after-school 90s anti-drug special, but I mean, you know, whatever. I guess if it works. But wait, it doesn't!
Ratchet! Wake up!
How is it that such small beings can be so loud?
Ah, yes, Ratchet's ever-casual racism against humans. It's honestly kind of funny. I really enjoy it, but it's kind of weird just how casual it is to him, but yet he's still friends with them. It's just kind of funny. It's a funny joke that they bring up every now and then. It doesn't get played too often, but it's enough to make you laugh. Now that Ratchet has woken up and feels much better and is performing optimally, even better than he was before, let's cut to the other crew. We find Optimus, Bulkhead, Bumblebee, and RC all chasing down Breakdown and Knockout for a cube of Energon, which they desperately need because their reserves are dreadfully low. You heard Ratchet, they are almost out of the stuff, so they really need it. What does RC do? She decides to go against completely every other lesson that she's learned throughout the series up to this point. We're 22 episodes in, by the way, of not to engage the enemy alone. That's a phrase that Optimus repeats quite a lot. Not engage the enemy alone, just for the sake of allowing Ratchet to show up and prove that he's so much better than he was before. Take a look. You need to show a level of effort when you're trying to tell these types of stories. This is the most bare bones level of plot thrown together so you can string a message across. And that message is drugs are bad, don't do drugs. When you don't even bother to give the message that you're trying to send the proper amount of time and effort and care and detail that it deserves, and you just get it out of the way within the first minute, they did not need to rush Ratchet injecting himself with a drug that he said literally 1 minute and 30 seconds beforehand needed more testing. You fail on all grounds after that.
And then, he came right at me, and well, come on, Bulk. Come at me.
I don't want to hurt you, Ratch.
I said, come at me.
What was that?
I'd also like to address, just for the sake of making a comment on this particular clip, is that Ratchet has proven time and again that he is not exactly a pushover, and while he does confine himself to running the day-to-day, telemetry operations for Team Autobot, he can take a punch, and he's gone out on patrol with Optimus quite a few times before. So I guess I just kind of find Bulkhead's reluctance to spar or practice with Ratchet just a little out of character. I guess to just kind of force the idea that, hey, Ratchet, hey, man, you need to calm down, bro. I don't like this, man. And it's not even like he's approaching it that way, but I just kind of feel like that's what they're trying to get across. Whereas normally I really wouldn't, yeah, Bulkhead's a strong guy, but I wouldn't exactly see them not practicing together. I mean, Ratchet's an Autobot. He should at least practice to defend himself. I'd imagine he would. Last line of defense, defend the base, keep in fighting shape, even if he doesn't need to go out. It just kind of, bothers me a little bit, but minor issue.
It's all right. I'm an emergency vehicle.
That line needs to be in a better episode. After Optimus rightfully calls out Ratchet for harming a Decepticon mining droid that wasn't even armed to defend itself, he decides that the Synth-En is impairing Ratchet's judgment and decides to send him back to base along with everyone else and confine him there until the Synth-En was burned out of his system. But oh no, Ratchet wasn't going to accept that, and after walking into the ground bridge and suddenly turning back out, he takes down Bulkhead and runs off on his own to go confront Megatron for the last time and save Cybertron by himself. Since clearly Optimus isn't, trying to do that, and they haven't been fighting a war to do it for, millennia. Ratchet, go you. You discovered synthetic energon and got a minor power boost. You clearly got this, man. Go you.
Yeah, she's kind of domineering and the extra arms are weird, but I find myself intrigued by her.
Breakdown has a thing for Spider-Bots.
He's Optimus Prime's medic.
Oh no, Megatron. I am your Doctor of Doom.
Really? And the Super Soldier Serum works!
All right, then.
For Cybertron!
Yay! So where do we go from here, now that Ratchet is basically a collapsed heap on the ground, left to basically die, bleeding out? Well, since he doesn't have any of the Energon anymore and his comrades are here to pick him up, they do so, and Ratchet is now left to recover after getting an Energon transfusion, which in turn allows him to function once more without any negative side effects of the Synth-En.
What are you going to do? Drink it?
No. I'm going to destroy it.
So, since Ratchet's basically bleeding it all out, we're not going to have any, lasting after effects of maybe dealing with the possibilities of him growing an addiction or whatnot. No, we're just going to have him bleed it all out on the floor, and then once it's all done, it was a one-time shot, so it's one and done. No possible chance of him wanting to use it again. No possible future stories we could tell with him being addicted or having a possibility of being addiction. Nope. We're just going to have him throw the jar at the wall, it shatters, and then that's that. That's the end. Nope. Done deal. Yeah, that's bullshit. Anyway, guys, after all of that, what did we finally learn?
I didn't intend to hurt anyone. Melted. Now there's a concept.
I was wondering when you might show.
All right. Anyway, so what did I think overall? Well, it's not unentertaining. The episode does have its fun moments, and Ratchet actually getting to do some serious damage is really nice to see. And it sets the stage for a bigger plot point down the road with Synthetic Energon playing a larger role in the story. but the vehicle for which the story is told is very flawed. The typical drug addict after school special atmosphere just feels off to me. The start of the plot happens so fast that I didn't even have time to fasten my seatbelt, and the character chosen for the addiction feels like a forced choice. Ratchet is a scientist and a field medic. He's capable of understanding the basic concept of doing substantial research before testing on live guinea pigs. The episode completely throws his intelligence and respect for how he's written out the window for the sake of telling an after-school drug special. Like I said earlier, I'm not saying that this story couldn't work. I'm even willing to concede that this would be doable in the Transformers universe, but not with Ratchet. Why not RC? Her character would be great for it. She already has an established rivalry with Arachnid. We can make the plot revolve around her, sneaking Energon away from Ratchet while he's busy, and injecting herself with it to finally settle scores. Why not make that a plot point? Why not advance that plot? But I guess the core of my issue is that Ratchet is such a poor choice for this type of story, and the method for telling it is so overdone and poorly written. But for what it's worth, it's not terrible, just disappointing. And that's just my 2 cents. But anyway, thanks for checking this episode, and let me know what you think. Should I continue the series? I definitely have a bunch of cartoons that I love to talk about. Anyway, let me know in the comments, and until next time, I'm Nobody, and I'll see you around.